Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
I just pressed record. So, Elder Corona, Elder Cox, thank you so much for inviting me here to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, because when I first met you on the street a couple weeks ago, I was saying Mormonism. You're like, well, we call it the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Is that because are there actually two names, or do people like me just get it confused all the time?
So there's not really two names. The church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Even on the back of the Book of Mormon, it says Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Right.
But people just like to call it like Mormon, just because I guess it's quicker. But that's not really what we're called. So we just it's just nice to hear it, the real name, I guess.
Yeah, and that nickname kind of just comes from the Book of Mormon, right? It's just that title.
Mm-hmm.
What is Mormon?
Mormon?
That's not a person, is it?
It's an actual person.
Oh,
yeah.
it is. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So the Book of Mormon, basically, if I'm gonna get like a brief summary of it, it's just like a collection of historical records, and the person who abridged it, who put all these records together from several different people, was called Mormon, and so that's why he's just called the Book of Mormon.
The Book of Mormon makes sense.
Yeah.
I've written a book called The Book of Awesome.
Really?
Yeah, that's my first book. It came out in 2010. It's called The Book of Awesome.
Wait, and you said your first name was Awesome?
No, my first name's Neil.
Oh,
Neil.
no, because we met somebody else the other day whose first name was Awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
You must meet the most interesting people, because are you actually, do you knock on doors?
Some.
Is that the best way to do it, or?
So as missionaries, we're in Ontario for 2 years, and we're not always in Toronto. So we'll get transferred around to different areas every few months. And so when you're in kind of more boony area, or where there's just a lot of houses and not a lot of people on the street, then there's a lot more knocking, houses.
You have to walk between farms and stuff.
I guess if you're in an area like that, yeah. But when you're in Toronto, we talk to people on the bus, on the subway, just on the street when we pass by, we talk to you.
Yeah.
Just
I love talking to you. You know why? Because I was I was literally just walking on the street. It's Ossington Avenue. It's a pretty busy street, but also pretty barren. Not many people walk on it. And you guys were just super well dressed. You're wearing white dress shirts. You're wearing ties. You're wearing dress pants. It's a clear day, and you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" You're like me. You just start chatting, and the whole time we're talking, you guys are stoked. You're super smiling. I'm like, in a way, I'm like, what are you on? Are you on something? You're so happy. But I could just tell you're so passionate. So this room that we're in now, let me describe the room, and then I'd love to just keep that conversation that we started going. I see, so it's a really high ceiling. I see stained glass around here. There's it's almost like a classroom. There's a chalkboard. It says, on the board, it says, Relief Society is an inspired part of the restoration of the Church of Jesus Christ. Lesson 130, the establishment of Nauvoo. Nauvoo. There's posters of Jesus, and it says, I am a child of God, and lots of chairs stacked in the corner. But when I got here, there was no cars in this church parking lot. I'm like, are they going to be here? It's empty. But I guess, did you walk here?
Yeah.
You took a bus?
We took a bus and we walked, yeah.
You took a bus and walked. And how do they, so when you do a mission, where did they decide you were going? Or do you decide that?
So when we in a way kind of apply for a mission. So we'll fill out some paperwork. We'll talk to some of the leaders in our church back in our home kind of congregations.
Right.
And so from there.
In Utah? Utah?
So I'm actually from Iowa myself.
Oh my gosh, I totally did a bigoted, biased thing. I was you're from Utah, right? No, you're Iowa, sorry.
So yeah, the church headquarters are in Utah. So that's kind of, a lot of people think that all of us are from Utah. But yeah, I'm from Iowa, and then Elder Corona's from California.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can I say Mormons? Or should I say, what are you called?
You could just say members of the church to make it short.
Okay. Are members of the church spread all over the U.S. evenly? Or because I always think Utah is literally my wife, Leslie, in the basement of her parents' basement, in her parents' basement, has an old world map. And it's really bad, actually, because it has a legend. And you know how the legend usually says where the population is, where this one has a legend that says what the religion is of the whole world.
Oh, wow.
So it's Hindu, and India is pink, it's pink, and it says Buddhism, and it's green, and it's Japan is green. And it says Christian, right? And then it says Mormonism, and literally it's the state of Utah.
Yeah, there's a really high population of members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Utah. There's a really high population. But actually, my previous companion before Elder Cox, He was from Switzerland. Yesterday we kind of split up and kind of like switched missionaries just for a day. And my companion was from Hong Kong. So like the church is all over the world. We go all over the world, and churches are all over the world.
How many followers are there total?
I think there's about 16 million right now.
Yeah.
And kind of cool fact actually is I believe there are more members outside of the United States and Canada, I believe, than inside.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's
which
very
countries are
worldwide.
the biggest? Do you know?
I would say Africa.
Oh, okay.
The population of
Because
the
the
church in
missions have
Africa.
gone there probably for a long time. Is that right?
Yeah.
And when you convert someone, is that the right word? Are you converting them to following the church, or is it a different? What's the goal? And feel free to ask me the questions you were asking me on the street, because like I was going into it with you. I was curious. So I'm open to conversion. I am.
All right.
So do to me what you do if you knocked on my door. Like I'd like to understand that process and talk to you through it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so personally as missionaries, some people I can kind of see, they feel like missionaries come up to them and they're just like, oh, I'm just a number to you. I'm just somebody that you're going to add to your numbers of the church. You just want to convert me. But really what we're out here to do is that we felt so many blessings in our life coming from the gospel of Jesus Christ and its completeness, I would say. We just would feel it would be so selfish to keep it to ourselves when our brothers and sisters don't have it. And we just want them to have the same joy. So we try to invite them, and oftentimes kind of hard because they think we're just there to gain something, but really we don't gain anything.
What do you gain? If anything, you lose, because as I think what you told me on the street is like you're here for 2 years.
Yeah.
You don't get paid. Is that right?
No.
You don't
No
get paid. Are you both 19 years old?
I'm 18.
I'm 19.
18 and 9. So you have to be, I'm assuming 18 to even go on a mission.
Yep.
Right? So you have to be at least 18. You don't get any money. Meanwhile, you have to eat. You need clothes. You have to buy shoes. So what do you, and if someone is converted, it's not like you get there's no finder's fee. Like you don't get like a month free board or anything.
No.
What are you supposed to do? This is downtown Toronto. Like, how do you pay the rent?
So we actually, we pay, but...
And you live together?
Yes, we live together.
Okay.
Right? And so how it kind of works is actually, I guess, there are missions worldwide, right? And so obviously it's going to cost more to live somewhere like Toronto than somewhere like Guatemala.
Right.
Very different costs.
A lot more.
A lot more. So everyone just kind of pays like a flat rate going in. And so from there, the church will distribute money to, meet the needs of missionaries. And that's like car, that's like bus passes. That's like...
When you say everyone pays, you mean everyone who goes on a mission or everyone who's a member of the church?
Goes on a mission.
Oh, so you have to pay up front because it's for all your room and board and stuff. Well, how much do you have to pay?
For the United States, it's about $10,000. But, the church helps out the families who can't afford it. And also you have the opportunity to pay it over time. You don't have to pay like all at once.
Right.
So it's kind of just like, for some people, the mission's like, oh, you're on a vacation. And really, you can look at it that way. But for us, it doesn't really feel that way. We're always working. We're always like for the first chunk of our day, we're studying really hard. And then we go out and try to help people. And it's a bit exhausting.
Yeah.
Just walking everywhere, trying to help people. And we don't really get time to relax. So we don't get to watch sports. Well, we choose to do this, right? And it's a rule for missionaries. Don't watch sports. Don't watch TV.
No, you're not allowed to watch any sports or TV?
Yeah, so we're supposed to be really consecrated and focused on the work of the Lord. It's a very important work.
Did you say consecrated?
Yeah.
What's consecrated mean?
I guess consecrated means like you give 100% of yourself.
Right.
So you don't want to kind of disperse your focus and your heart on things that won't benefit others or yourself in this work. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
So you pay 10 grand, you get in, it's always 2 years?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be, I know you have to be 18. Is there any limit on how old you can be? Can like a 70-year-old person go?
Yeah, 25. I believe 25 is the limit for
okay.
like our 2-year missions as, as these young people.
You're as you said that, you're holding up your tie and it says Elder Corona.
Yeah.
Does it say Ecole de Jesus Christ?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yours is in French.
yeah, mine's in French. I'm a French missionary.
Oh, you speak French.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I have so many questions. But okay. So I get that you pay. I get that you come in. You're here for 2 years. But you said something else. Oh yeah. So no sports, no TV. What else are you? What else is on the no list for you guys?
Secular music is one of them.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
hard for a lot of missionaries.
So what if you can't go to a concert? What about the radio?
Well, we can't turn on the radio if we have cars, we can't turn on the radio. So we have like a lot of religious music, maybe hymns or like orchestral music, things that wouldn't, what we call invite the spirit, like a good spirit to help us out and guide us in our work.
Yeah.
I think that would take our focus away from.
So no secular music.
Yeah.
What else? Some movies?
No movies.
No movies.
We're allowed to watch like kind of movies made by the church though, which talk a lot about like, maybe the coming forth of the Book of Mormon or about Jesus Christ's life and stuff, which kind of get us in mood spiritually and stuff.
Yeah.
So we do watch those movies at our apartment.
And what about, so therefore you have a TV?
Like a tiny like portable TV.
Oh, you brought it yourself?
No, it was just there.
Okay.
A lot of missionaries just leave things behind in the apartment so that the next missionary.
Oh, the apartment is missionary to missionary.
Yeah.
It's not, you guys have, so the church has its own apartments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of move in and out missionaries every...
And they're paying the rent.
Yep.
Or they have an apartment building.
No, they're paying the rent.
Okay.
Like just rent.
Gotcha.
Scattered, yeah.
Okay. So no music, no movies, presumably no TV shows?
No TV shows.
Unless it's a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints TV show, which maybe there is one, maybe there's not.
Right now,
there kind of is. Like there's kind of a TV show like thing.
What is it? What's the show?
It kind of talks about missionary work and like kind of like at the beginning of your mission, sometimes you'll watch it to kind of get a feel for what you'll be doing on your mission and what you'll be teaching. And
what is the name of the TV show?
So it's actually called The District.
I'm picturing like a really bad sitcom or something, like
it's not the highest quality, yeah.
Oh no, it's pretty old.
So it's an old, and so is there characters? Like a character that's a missionary in the TV show?
It's kind of like reality, like they're actual missionaries.
Wow.
And so it kind of goes through their everyday life and what they do every day.
Do you find the show inspiring? Do you get something from it? Or you're like, turn that off, I want to read, or,
I'd say at the beginning of my mission, it really helped me because I guess I wasn't really used to mission life right away. Like I wasn't used to not having movies or TV shows or music to
you
fall
grew up
back
with that
on.
stuff, and then it was taken away in a way.
Exactly. And so that's a big adjustment to go from all of that and all that entertainment to now coming on a mission. And if you are bored and don't have anything to do, well, you go read your scriptures.
That's it. Yeah. So wait. Also, I'm assuming no alcohol.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is that right? For any member, yeah.
Period.
That's church-wide.
Oh, so if I was to you're losing me a bit on the converting now, because I'm like, then I don't get to drink again. No more drinking.
Well, I think so. Then we have something. There's a few major things that we help people understand before they, consider joining the church.
Yeah.
It's something called the word of wisdom, which is basically no taking any substance that would harm your body, or kind of like an addiction almost. So, for example, marijuana, smoking, alcohol, drugs, anything like that. In my personal opinion, I feel like it reduces your ability to be a good father, a good husband, to be really focused on giving everything you have to your family.
Right.
It's a selfless kind of commitment to not do those things. Also, the law of chastity, which is to keep yourself sexually pure. And if you have sexual relations, it's inside of marriage. Because
no sex before marriage.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Because we feel like it's a really, really powerful thing that God has given us to create life. That's really huge, I think. And to be able to do that only inside marriage makes it a lot more sacred and a lot more valuable. And the last thing is just the law of tithing. So the law of tithing, it even speaks about it in the Bible a bit. It's just you give 10% of your revenue to the church so that they can continue building more buildings.
I'll pay for your little TV.
Yeah,
I guess.
It goes towards...
And the district production fees.
No, you got it. Yeah. It goes towards missionary work. It goes towards, the upkeep and building of church buildings. And then also temples. I don't know if have you ever seen a temple before, Neil?
I've seen a Hindu temple because my parents came to Canada. My mom's from East Africa.
Oh, wow.
My dad, Nairobi, and my dad is from northern India. They had an arranged marriage in England. They came to Canada my dad in the late 1960s, my mom in the 1970s. They were Hindu, but I grew up an hour outside of Toronto. So although they were Hindu, we lived in a totally white neighborhood with no temples around. But occasionally we'd go to downtown Toronto or one of the Indian neighborhoods, and I'd go to that kind of temple. Is that... Or do you mean a specifically Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints temple?
Yeah, so the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints builds temples, and there's actually one in Brampton.
Oh, okay.
So
just outside of Toronto?
Right outside of Toronto.
Yeah.
It's called the Toronto Temple, and they're really built all over the world.
Yeah.
Right, and so temple worship is a big part of our life.
But they have to pay the 10% because it's helping to build the temples.
Exactly. Yeah.
It helps move forward the work of the Lord. And It's what we feel and what we know and what we
Totally
believe.
get it. And I love that. And I love, just so you know, I want this to be clear to everyone listening. So it's like, I love what you're saying because you're stoked, you're smiling, you're happy. Like, I'm like, you're more happy than almost anyone I meet, you know? And most people, it's hard to have this weird balance. Like, it's like, on one hand, you believe in something that takes such dedication.
Yeah.
You are committing years of your life. Right when people usually like kind of go to college or like are pursuing a major or maybe are dating or drinking or smoking weed or whatever, you're going the exact opposite. Exact opposite. You're focused entirely on one thing, which is this book I have in front of me because it's going to be your first book today.
Yeah.
But you're doing so like not just willingly, but like eagerly.
Yeah.
Is there? So I'm like curious about so much stuff here. But like growing up, were you both in families where everybody was in the church, or any of your siblings or parents not in the church?
So I have 6 siblings myself. Both my parents are members of the church, and I grew up in a household where we went to church, we read scriptures and stuff like that. My oldest brother does not go to church, kind of separated himself from that, and so there's kind of that influence as well. But otherwise, my other older brother, he served a mission in Arizona. And my other older sister, she served a mission in Arizona as well. And so I'd say I grew around pretty well-off household. But I did have my older brother who really was almost very against it.
From what age did that happen?
I would say probably 15 or 16.
And what you think drove that different thinking for him?
I'm not exactly sure. I know it was really hard on my parents. Not that like we turn him away or anything, like we still love him and everything, but I think it was, I don't know, I think this takes a lot of dedication, takes a lot of change. Like we said, we talk about those just 3 simple things like word of wisdom, law, chastity, and tithing. Like that's a big commitment that not a lot of people like to make, right? And to really give your entire life to this is not easy.
It's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm. And so I think as a teenager, especially like when you're 18, where a lot of maybe friends in the church start to go on missions, it comes to a big decision point. Do I really believe this?
Right.
Do I believe in God and in the Church of Jesus Christ? And is this something I really want to give my life to?
This version of God, like God through this church. Because somebody would say, my parents would say, I believe in God, but they're Hindu. You know what I mean? They believe in God, but in a different way. Mm-hmm. So when you say, I love that you said we still love him. We haven't cast him out of our family. You know, because that's also common in a lot of cultures. If somebody chooses something very different, I can think of a lot of Indian cultures growing up Indian, where somebody married somebody white, for example, or didn't follow the family's kind of code or practice on some tradition, they were cast out of the family. Mm-hmm. They were not spoken to again. They were, in some extreme examples, not the ones family that I know, like there could even be violence and things like that with the person that's chosen a different path. So it takes a lot of courage also to say, well, we still love you, you're still part of our family. Was that hard to do as siblings and parents, do you think?
I can't really speak for my parents, but for me, not really. I think like in Iowa, like I grew up around people who weren't members of this church, you know, like almost all of my friends, you know, didn't believe this, right? So I was used to it, you know, and I knew it didn't really affect me. Mm-hmm. You know, everyone makes their own personal choices. And so I don't think it was really hard for me personally. But I can't really speak for my parents.
But you guys still tight. You guys are still tight. Like your brother is still somebody you connect with, even though his belief system has changed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And your family, Elder Corona, have you guys all? Were you born also into a family that was following the church when you were born?
Yeah, I was born to a family, members of the church, and we did similar things, just like Elder Cox.
Yeah.
But my mom, however, her parents, my grandparents on my mom's side, are Catholic, and my mom's siblings, my aunt, my uncle, they had to wait until they were older until they could be baptized. They really felt strongly that the Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints, was true, and that they could have a lot of, like, the maximum amount.
So your mom and her siblings converted.
Yeah.
At what age?
So I think they were above 18. They had to be above 18 because you need your parents' consent. So in order to do these things, if you're a minor, of course, you know. So there's just legal procedure. But yeah, they had to wait basically. When they were young, they wanted to get baptized, but they just had to wait until they were old enough.
Baptized into the Church of Latter-day Saints. So, but how did they decide? Does somebody knock on their door? Like, how did they get?
For my parents?
Yeah.
So, funny thing is that my mom, for a big chunk of her life, was raised by my great grandma. So her grandma, and my great grandma was exposed to the church in Guatemala.
Okay. Is that your family background?
My mom's side from Guatemala, yeah.
Oh, wow.
My dad's side is from Mexico.
And your dad's from Mexico. And was he also born into a family that was following the church?
Yes, he was.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that that's more common than someone who decides to convert, making your job here super difficult. Right? Am I right? Like if you've been here for how long in Toronto?
In Toronto itself, this is my second week.
You're here 2 weeks, yeah.
I've been in Ontario for 9 months.
You're 9 months in. And what about you, Elder Corona?
I've been here for about 5 months. And Toronto, I've been in Toronto for about 2 months, but before that I was in Etobicoke. I don't know if you'd still count that as Toronto.
Yeah, right? Kind of. It's like just west. It's part of Toronto, yeah.
Yeah, but I've been here.
Depending who you ask.
Basically, I've been here basically the whole time. So.
And you guys do everything together.
Yeah, we can't split up.
You're not allowed to.
No.
So you have to live together. You have to eat together.
Yeah, you can choose to eat together. What's most important is that you're always in each other's presence, besides the bathroom and stuff like that.
So just not the bathroom.
Yeah, basically
Pretty
that's
much.
it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Why?
So
I would say it's really just to protect us, right? I mean, like you're in a big city that neither of us are familiar with, you know?
Or you might be in a small city.
Or in a small city too, you know? And there's, you know, people out there who don't have good intentions or don't really care for missionaries.
So like, if you're saying if you open the door and there's two people there, it's a lot. Now the person answering the door, like if it's me, I'm like, if I want to say something rude, I'm not going to because there's two people. Like it's less. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's two people, not one.
Yeah, that could be a factor. Even as two people, we get a lot of insults every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what do people say?
This is a lot of mean stuff. I'm not gonna like reiterate it, but just a lot of like mean, insulting things. But it's okay, you know. That's just how it is.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's not your fault. So, but I think also another thing is if every person reflects back to the times where they made the most unintelligent decisions in their life, most likely they were alone. Most likely they were alone.
Oh, so it's both to keep you safe, but also to keep you. Because it's a big commitment. You're opening every day with scripture. You're kind of having to stay away from music, from television, from film, other than The District, which I would love to see an episode of The District. And you know so you need to make sure that you're staying the course.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Staying the course, making righteous decisions, like being just very.
You
like
must
I said, consecrated.
I'm assuming because you had the experience with your brother, and also just in general what you get told at the doors. You've also, I'm sure, there's been times in your life where those thoughts come into your head, like, what if I followed a different religion? Do you ever think that, or is it like a thought you won't allow into your head?
I'd say like doubts are very common among everyone, right?
Of course,
and they're important.
That's life. Yeah,
they're important. Like you can't build faith in something unless you doubt. You know, otherwise, when a doubt does creep in, like your faith is just shattered, right? So honestly, like doubt and questions are super important. And so, but I think it's great to have a companion where if you do have a doubt or a question, you can ask them, you know, sometimes they have had that same question before and they can help you answer it, right? And so, at least that's what in my experience, like, yeah, I always have questions and I often have doubts, but having people around me who can help me answer those questions for myself really helps.
Unless you both have the same doubt. If you're like, hey, you know what? If you have a day where it's what you would call a bad day, when somebody else who disagreed with the church might say, well, hey, that's good. They're getting an awakening. You might say, you know what? I've knocked on how many doors in 2 weeks? I don't know how many doors, but how many people have you converted in 2 weeks? Elder Cox. Probably, am I guessing very low?
How many have I converted in 2 weeks? I've converted no one.
And what about 9 months? Because you've been in Canada for 9 months.
No one.
No one, yeah. That's hard. That's hard. And what about you, Elder Crone? Is it the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's also like, in a way, I'm sure sometimes, and because I'm a writer, I have days where I'm like, oh, I'm going to write a chapter of my book today. And then it's like 4 or 5 p.m. I'm like, going to go home and see my family. And I'm like, I got nothing done. I mean, I don't mean I wrote 1 page when I wanted to write a chapter. I mean, I wrote 0 words. I had a frustrating day. I tried stuff and it's like, that's not right. It didn't work. And I go home kind of all stressed, really, and bottled up, you know? And so you've had 9 months in Canada. The purpose of your mission is to expose and convert, share the love, but 0 people have followed you.
Yeah, it's I think for us, we can do everything we can do, and we can do it with the right attitude, the right heart. But in the end, it comes down to them. We're not here to shove what we believe down their throats or anything. We're just here to invite them. We open the door for them, say, come on, try this. We really feel that it blesses us. We hope you feel the same way. And in the end, they have to choose to walk in the door and to feel it for themselves, or just close the door and say, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
What is the average? Do you know? Because like it's 2 years, right? Like, so it must be a big day when one of your fellow missionaries says like, hey, I have someone interested in coming in. They want to meet you guys. They want to read the book. Like, I'm keeping it. Like, that must be exciting.
It is exciting. It's super cool. And like we see miracles all the time too. Like, no, I haven't seen anyone like when they convert, like they're baptized. I haven't seen anyone do that for themselves. I've had people that like I've, taught before get baptized, but I haven't been there for any.
What do you call a miracle though? A miracle is when someone converts?
Kind of, but I guess I can share a quick one. So I was knocking in Sault Ste. Marie, just like normal.
So Sault Ste. Marie, for those listening, is like, people from Sault Ste. Marie might disagree with me, but it's a very, very northern Ontario town.
Yeah.
It's the biggest town for hundreds and hundreds of miles in every direction, but by any measure, it would also be one of the smallest towns around.
Yeah. So it's about 8 hours away from here, I believe. Yeah. And so it was very cold. I spent 6 months there in the dead of winter, but it was a good time. But
you couldn't do anything though.
No, we went out and knocked anyways.
You had that plus the scripture for 6 months in the dead of winter in Sault Ste. Marie?
Yep.
Oh my God, Elder Cox, I'm surprised you didn't crack.
I'll admit it was really hard, but like I said, like there are miracles. So for example, we were just out knocking like normal, and we knock on this door, and this guy opens the door and start talking to him. Like usually when I'll tell you, like when someone opens the door, say, hey, like we're just a couple of volunteers in the area, or we're missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, and we're just going around sharing a message or the Book of Mormon or something like that. But he stopped us right after we told him who we are. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. We're like, oh, okay. Where have you heard of us before? He's like, I'm actually a member. I was baptized 40 years ago, out in Alberta. And we're like, no way. And he's like, I was actually just thinking about the church and how I want to get back involved with something like that. And we're like, well, we came at the perfect time, and so we were able to work with him, tell him where the church is, and get him back involved, get him active and helping other people, and raise him spiritually. So I just think like you get these miracles like that where you find these people who are looking for you, even if it's not necessarily a conversion.
What a beautiful day, beautiful moment that must have been. Also for him, because he had that experience 40, 50 years ago, was thinking he needed it again, but needed a push. Or needed a what's it called? A specific
spark.
A spark.
Mm-hmm.
Good word. You should be. You have writing in you too, more than me. And then what do you say to the opposite people? The people that all 6 months in Sault Ste. Marie, dead of winter. That was the miracle. But I'm assuming there was hundreds of non-miracles. What do you say to people that say that's all made up? I don't agree. You guys are following the wrong thing. This is BS.
That's what we got.
There's no God. Yeah. There's no God. Prove it.
That's it. That happens every day. Yesterday, that happened a lot, and we got insulted so much, saying like people telling us like those exact things, but a little bit worse. And really, no, we know. For us, it's just personal testimony that we know it's true for ourselves, and we just feel that they don't understand. Have they ever tried it? Have they ever read the whole book? I don't know, maybe they haven't. But if they really have like done it sincerely, at least for me, I feel that for sure they would have felt happiness and the same blessings that we feel. There would be no other reason in the world that we would leave our families that we love so much for 2 years and stop school and stop our whole lives just to serve the Lord and to help other people feel as happy as we are. And when people do like treat us that way, they just don't understand. That's okay. Maybe one day they will understand. That's what we hope.
Do you feel the same way, Elder Cox?
Of course. And we're not really here to convert anyone. I have a firm belief that me personally can't convince anyone, right, that God is there and that these things are of God, right? And so that's why as missionaries...
Aren't you? That's kind of like... Didn't you give up before you started the mission then?
You might think that, but the real thing, as missionaries, we don't believe that we do the converting. We believe that God does, right? So like when we sit down with people, we may share some things that we believe, but we invite people to pray themselves, to seek God, and to really receive answers from Him, that these things are from Him. And we don't want them to just take our word for it, because like I believe these things are true.
You mean receive answers from Him like if they pray?
Yeah,
exactly.
So if they pray and they don't hear from Him, then what do you think? Do you think they didn't pray right, or He doesn't choose them, or they just didn't hear it properly? Like then, because for example, I have tried praying and I have not heard anything.
No, that's a good concern, actually. So what we feel, actually, in my personal experience and in a lot of people's experiences, things don't happen like one of our, we call him general authorities, one of the leaders of the church, because sometimes prayers aren't answered like a flick of a light switch. Sometimes it's like the rising of a sun. It takes a little bit of patience, takes a little bit of perseverance. You have to wait a bit. And it may take a very long time, but as sure as you are persevering with the effort to, do everything you can with a sincere heart. I'm reading with all the intention of my heart to figure out. I'm praying with all the effort of my heart to feel something. When we do that, maybe eventually it'll happen.
I love the dedication.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That type of dedication can get you anything you want in life in general. It's not like you hear a voice or I'm not saying you do or don't. I'm asking. I'm just trying to learn. So you don't, it's not like you hear a voice saying, I hear you, my son, or anything like that. It's more like you get a body feeling.
Almost, yeah. Yeah, it's almost like that.
It's like a body high. Is that right?
Yeah,
I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm asking.
Yeah, it can work through feelings, but it can also work through thoughts in your head, right? So almost some people do describe it as like a still small voice, or something literally speaking to them, like a voice they can hear. But it kind of depends on the person. Like God communicates to each person differently, depending on kind of their situation or, I guess, things that they would recognize, and even going back to that.
That must be frustrating, though, in the days that you pray and you don't hear anything back.
Sometimes, yeah.
And therapy is a good comparison, I think, because when I first went to therapy, I was going through a divorce. And are divorces a thing in the church or not?
It happens. It's not encouraged.
It's not encouraged, but if people get divorced, they're not out of the church.
No, they're not.
They can get remarried or whatever.
Yeah.
And sorry, I should have asked, homosexuality, is that in the church or not?
So our kind of stance on that is like we support the person but not the act, right? So we regard everyone as God's children, right? So in a sense, we're all brothers and sisters. And so we hold the family very sacred, right? That's why we have the law of chastity, is because families are very important to God.
Yeah.
And when we grow up in strong families, then we have more support in life. We can learn and grow and learn the gospel of Jesus Christ and be more successful. And so God wants to protect families. And so our stance on that
So there would be there for gay people in the church because you support the person. So there's people that are gay. But the act, meaning, are you talking about sex? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Homosexual acts.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
acting on it.
Okay, because it's interesting because my son has a friend in his school, a little girl, blonde hair. I won't say. I usually don't try not to say names of children. I always have the thing about.
That's good.
Oh, that's good. Is that a thing?
Well, just for the podcast, I guess.
Well, I'm just always like, we don't post our pictures of our kids online. We think it's there. And there's this new thing that's happening now where kids are now saying, I'm 18. What is up, mom and dad? You have been posting pictures of me since I was a baby. My genitals are there. I'm 3 years old crying at my birthday party. I'm 6 years old and like I couldn't. And I'm 18 now. And like, there's a huge paper trail of my whole life online on your feeds. Like So that's becoming a big thing now because 18-year-olds, think about 18 years ago, it was 2001. So they were posting it. I'm getting off track, but the point is he has a friend and she has two dads. Okay, so she has two dads. They her, or I think they had a surrogate, meaning that they used one of their sperms and they had someone donate an egg.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've had birthday parties together and meet in the park and stuff. So if you knocked on their door, in your head or in the scripture, is it that they're not a family? That family? That what I would call it, like, even though it's two dads and one girl, I guess I'm asking how you define family.
That's a good question. Actually, we have something called a family proclamation, and it explains, that the family that Heavenly Father is our Father, would want for us.
God and Heavenly Father the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That He would want for us is with a father, a mother, children as well. But even we call our church, we're a family here, and you can use the term very in a literal sense, like father, mother, children, or in a symbolic sense, like we just have so much love for each other. It's like a family. So I guess it's really up to.
I love all those definitions, but if I joined the church and then I married a man, am I kicked out?
Do you know?
No, I would say we kind of talked about that temple, right? And so there's a certain standard that God wants us to have in order to kind of raise our holiness, raise our spirituality. And so if you walked into the church and you were homosexual or you were married to another man, no, we wouldn't kick you out. We'd say, welcome.
Right.
We're so glad you're
but
at church.
But you couldn't kiss another man.
You could, we wouldn't.
You could do whatever.
You could do whatever you want. We respect everyone's
But the
agency,
act of
right?
homosexual acts, though, that's what I was hearing what you're saying, and it's not. I know it's you, but also you're representing what you've been learning and what you've been taught, and so I'm not. This is not an indictment. I'm just curious. I know so little about religion. I have such few books on my shelf in religion, and I met you guys. You're so open, so friendly. I'm like, I ask you the dumbest questions ever. I realize they're super dumb, but it's super helpful for me.
Really good question.
Part of what is great about the missionary work, I'm assuming, unless you get stuck in Sault Ste. Marie for 6 months in the dead of winter, it's just that you get to see the world. You get to see parts of the world that you wouldn't otherwise go to. And so Africa you mentioned. Could you have said I would like to go to Africa or something like that if you wanted to, or Guatemala?
So the way it works is really, so we have a prophet. We believe in modern day prophets, and he has his 12 apostles. And so when
You mean that's somebody that's alive today? Oh, what's their name?
the prophet right now is called Russell M. Nelson.
Okay, Russell M. Nelson.
Yeah.
And that's sort of head of the church in a way.
President of the church.
President of the church.
President of the church.
Who lives in Salt Lake City.
He does.
I got it. I got it right this time. Okay.
Yeah. And so we send our applications to them, and by prayer and really divine revelation, they feel where we should go. They feel, okay, Elder Corona, where is he gonna go? I should go to Toronto.
Do you have any idea how they do that, or what they base it on? Do you have an application? Do you write an essay? Do you hint about your background, so they're trying to give you something different? Or
They have a bit of a questionnaire kind of type of thing. So you have to do all this medical.
do you like hockey?
Not like that type of
I think maybe it might ask you your hobbies.
Yeah.
So
They can.
Yeah.
They also ask you, what language do you already speak? I'm sure that kind of influences, but ultimately it's up to these leaders of the church.
The leader and the 12 apostles. Who are they?
The 12 apostles. Would you like to?
Are they all men?
yes, they are
All men.
They are.
Is the leader of the church always a man?
Yes.
There's never been a female leader.
Correct.
And that all apostles are always men.
Correct.
Why is it always men?
There are female leaders, but not in a type of way like the apostles and the prophet. There's right there on the board, it's the Relief Society. So there's a woman organization in the church, and there's a president of the Relief Society. So there's many organizations in the church that kind of in a pyramid type of way.
Sorry, there's something inside the church called the Relief Society that's a women's group?
So the men's is usually called, they might call them a quorum of priesthood holders, which is just another word. Maybe you can explain it later.
But does the church consider men and women to be equal?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But there's no women in the leadership.
Yeah. So
How if you read the New York Times, are you allowed to read the news?
not really, no.
Oh, you're not allowed to read the news, eh? So did you know about the Notre Dame?
Oh, I heard about it.
We heard about it.
How'd you hear about it then? I'm curious because you can't watch TV, you can't read the news.
I heard about it on the bus yesterday, actually. I was talking to a woman, and she's like, "Oh, did you hear about the?"
Okay, so if the news is so big that people are talking about it, it'll get to you.
Yes.
Probably.
Right. Probably, but maybe not. There could be a big explosion today somewhere, and you wouldn't know about it.
Exactly.
Which I can see the pros of that for sure. But I'm saying if you go in the newspaper, they always have every company's kind of executive kind of percent female. And they're always tracking like what percent of CEOs are women. And really the point of the whole thing that's happening in the world is, holy cow, we are so abysmally poor at being equal at the top.
Yeah.
Really, it's a huge. Frankly, most CEOs are white guys. That's really kind of what they're saying. You know what I mean? And look how much disproportionate share of wealth they get, how much money they get, etc. So I like that you're saying they're equal, but at the same time, I'm like, well, how come they're not present then?
No, yeah. So a lot of people in like the world think, leadership is kind of like, oh, it's an opportunity to be above somebody else type of thing, But we know that this type of leadership, it doesn't mean you're above anybody else. This is just a special, kind of calling that the Lord has asked you to do. And something that women have that men don't is the ability to have a baby. That's something called a gift of life, right? And men don't get to do that. But that's okay, because women have like their blessings and their gifts, and men have their responsibilities and their gifts as well. So they kind of fulfill different roles. And it's not to say one role is better than the other, because they're super, super important. I think my mom is one of the greatest and strongest women I've ever met. And I love her so much. I'm not going to talk about too much about it because I might cry, because I love her so much.
You can talk about it. Tell me why.
I think that she's just a very, very... Sorry, man.
No, please.
I think that she's just a very strong woman.
Tell me why.
No matter how much criticism and all the problems that have ever happened in her life, no matter all the tears that she's shed, she's always remained strong in the faith. She's always been a very strong example for me. Regardless if I treated her the way that she should have been treated or not, everybody has regrets of how they treat their parents. But yeah, I love my mom so much, and I think women are one of God's greatest blessings for men, because women offer something priceless that men sometimes just can't even give. And the church supports that as well. Mm-hmm. The church knows how valuable women are, and that being a leader doesn't make you better, doesn't make you stronger, doesn't make you anything. It just means that you have this responsibility. The Lord needs you to do it, and women have the responsibility, and the Lord needs them to do it too. And they're so, so important, equal in different ways.
Thank you.
My mom always says that the reason there are men leaders and they have this calling is because they need to learn something from it that the women don't need to learn, So women, they have those gifts.
I like that joke, because then you can say like, oh, they're not there because they already know how to do all that. No, you're welcome. I relate to that. I love my mom too. And my mom left East Africa during the Idi Amin kind of crisis. So he's a dictator that was ruling the nearby country of Uganda. And she lost her dad when she was very young. She was ushered into an arranged marriage after she met the guy once, because culturally in East Indian culture at the time, it's mostly arranged marriage. Now, it wasn't the sort of, you will marry him. It was like, we'll introduce you to a few and, that kind of thing. But there was a lot of pressure to leave East Africa. And I'm like, whoa, oh my gosh, like she landed with a thump, like in a country she's never lived in, with no family around, no parents around. Father passed away, having scrambled out of her home, which because of the dictator was everyone's leaving, and landed in not just Toronto, but a suburb an hour east of Toronto where there's no hints or vision of anything culturally she'd ever, like, there's no temples, like I said, but also nobody wearing a sari or nobody wearing a, anything like that. It's all totally gone.
So how did she deal with that?
She, as I say in my new book, actually I use this, she's chapter 1 of my new book, and the thesis of her life to me is add a ... So, an ellipses at the end. So she always saw periods in her life, endings of sentences. You're going to get married this way. You're going to move this way. You're going to be heterosexual, right? Like it's in your culture as well. But like in East Indian culture at the time, it's like there's no awareness or acceptance of homosexuality. But all these things, and she always added a ... So she came to Canada. Her husband, my dad, took her waltzing at the German club. She never waltzed before. And I remember asking her that as a kid. I was like, you don't waltz? She's like, no, I just told myself I don't waltz yet. And this ability to add the word yet after 3 dots is honestly how she thought about everything. And She's a beautiful, almost 70-year-old woman who I'm very grateful for, hence me writing a whole chapter about her in my new book.
I love that.
I like that.
Yeah, I'd love to send you a copy when it comes out.
Yeah,
For sure.
But there is some swearing in my book, though. Are you allowed to read it?
Yeah.
We
Really?
can read it, but we don't use it.
Okay, good. Oh, so the books are not banned. That's good.
Actually,
like
on our mission we can't read it, but we can hold it off when we get back home.
Yeah, like I'd
You
love
can
to read
ha-
it when I get home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear. So, also, when you're done the mission, is it like Mardi Gras? Like, is it like I'm back, baby?
A lot
Get
of
the funnel
missionaries
out.
certainly feel that way. Some missionaries are like, man, I hear all these new movies I can't watch when I get home type of thing. Yeah.
It's kind of like a bittersweet thing, you know, like you get these things that you missed on your mission, you know, like you get to see your family every day if you stay at home. You do get to watch movies, go back to that lifestyle. But then, like I said, it's bittersweet. Sometimes, like, there are some things on the mission that you miss, such as like that level of spirituality you had. And so it's very much dependent on the missionary too.
I love. So I'm so interested in things about what I'm hearing from you about around passion, around faith, around determination, around dedication, about believing solely in one cause, even though the majority of the world disagrees with you. Because you said there's 14 million, there's 7 billion in the world. Yeah. You've converted nobody in 9 months. You've knocked on doors. You're told way worse stuff than I said to you. And I'm just saying it hypothetically. And I'm also trying to be polite, but people will be like, probably say like, and I won't swear in your presence, but you know, get that off my stairs, and like, you know, what are you doing here? You know, you're wasting your life. They challenge you not just daily, but like almost hourly. I mean, I get a bad comment on my blog, I cry myself to sleep. You guys are getting yelled at to your face.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, inside yourself is your own self, your own mind, your own soul, your own brain. And I'm sure, as you said, there's always questions, but there's also like, you know, people, they say 10% or something of the population is gay, you know, so there's people who are going on missions and then they realize, oh, I'm homosexual. Is that going to make a problem for my church, who I passionately believe in? You know, there's people like your brother who decide, this isn't for me. I'm not into there's 3 things: the tithing, the word of wisdom,
law of
chastity. And he's like, that's not for me. Maybe I've met a boyfriend or girlfriend who I don't want to be chaste with till marriage, or maybe I don't want to get married. You know, I have friends these days that are choosing to not get married kind of ever, but they'll have the baby, they get a house or whatever, but the marriage, nah. So those things all roll around in your head. So how do you if I know it's on the mission, you can't watch TV and stuff, but how do you expose yourself to the other thing, the other religions, the other perspectives, because you're asking people to expose themselves to yours, which is great. Yeah. And that's why we're having this conversation. How do you expose yourself to theirs?
So your question, a big part is listening, right? Like we talk to so many people, they tell us their views. And for me, at least, I can't speak for all missionaries, but I actually consider those views, right? Like sometimes they talk about very deep things that I've never thought about before, and I really like it. I'm like, oh, I've never thought about that before.
Like what was one recently that you got
like
told?
Yesterday, this guy was telling me about like Buddhism and all this super deep stuff. And I was like, I have never heard any of that before. Sounds a little interesting. And I told him, I was like, you know, like, honestly, like this is my time to give to Jesus Christ and my beliefs right now. But I told him, honestly, like I would love to look into that after my mission, like honestly. And so like,
and when you do that, when you look into, and sorry, I'm laughing to myself. I'm like, how Torontonian for a guy to be so friendly that he starts then, and of course, Buddhism is kind of like, I can picture that in Toronto. There's a lot of Buddhist culture here, a lot of yoga, a lot of practices around this. So I'm like, this guy welcomed you in, right? He didn't shove you away. He welcomed you in.
Yeah, he already approached us and started talking to us.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, he approached you. I thought you meant you knocked on his door.
No, this was on the street yesterday.
Oh, this is the way you guys met. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
You got a good policy. Don't knock on doors. Just hang out on the street.
There's a lot of people on the street.
There's a lot of people on the street.
And Elder Corona, have you had similar feelings, or when if someone says, "Thanks for teaching me about the Book of Mormon, can I tell you a little bit about atheism? Let me tell you why I used to believe and now I don't." somebody might say, because I've read this thing in National Geographic, that the fastest growing religion right now in the world is actually no religion. It's not atheism. It's choosing none. None of the options is actually the fastest
Like
growing.
agnosticism, like you don't believe in anything?
Yeah, well, agnosticism, I thought, and I could be wrong, it's the belief that there may be something or may not be. Kind of ambivalence. It's like,
different.
I don't know. You're saying kind of, I don't know. Atheism saying, I do know, and there ain't nothing up there. Like atheism is like, yeah, I know, there's no God. I believe fully in science, and like this is all a product of evolution, and our species has been, we've discovered skulls in Africa from 200,000 years ago. We can map the whole genome evolution. Like, that's the truth, And then the idea of no religion, I think maybe kind of similar to how I grew up, which is I had parents who were religious. I'm in a very, like, everyone I went to school with is white, but they're also like Catholic or Christian or Baptist or, lots of different kind of sects, But I kind of grew up with no religion myself in a way because I was exposed to I saw all of them, and that's growing. So actually there's some countries that are going to have a primarily no religion majority soon. I think England, Australia, and so then when they tell that to you and they say, hey, how about this way of thinking? How do you process that? Or how do you...
No, that's a good question, yeah. I think for us, as much as missionaries are as teachers, a lot of the time what we do on the street is listening.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk 5 times more than we talk, and we just listen, we smile, and we try to understand them. For us, we really have a strong belief that we have a lot of the happiness that God can give us, and we just want to share that with others. And how they take on it, and if they whether they take it or not, or whether they believe something else, we just try to respect it. And sometimes it can actually teach us some very valuable values that are inside of our church, but maybe just have to be focused more, and their entire attention is that one value. And I like that a lot. Sometimes some things need a lot of nurturing and care. Sometimes you compare it to a garden, you give all this water, all this love to this one flower, and instead of dispersing all this water and love to all the flowers, all of a sudden, just because you focus on one, it ends up being the most beautiful flower you've ever seen.
Because in a way, and I have not read the Book of Mormon, although it is your first book, the Book of Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ. On the cover, it is a navy blue book with kind of a leathery cover. You handed this to me for free.
Yeah, we always give them for free. Yeah.
Right? Although I went to the bookstore and I see they are for sale there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I bought one. So I have...
Oh, you bought one?
Yeah, $6.99.
I actually didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it was $6.99. So
Well, you could have just asked us. We got to give you another.
Oh, I know. It was actually a miscommunication as I was preparing. I asked my assistant, I was like, can you grab The Hobbit? And I was like, anyway, whatever. So I love that because you know what I hear in that? Here's what I hear. This is just Neil talking. I love that because here's what I hear. I hear that in your book that you follow, it's so big and so vast and so deep and so all-encompassing that when you talk to somebody who has a different opinion, what you actually, so an atheist say, what you're actually hearing is a connection between you. Mm-hmm. That the things that they care about and maybe believe may actually reflect some beliefs that you also have, or maybe you're zooming up a level, and this is the part I really love about what I heard from you, to think we're all people, Mm-hmm. We're all living on the same planet. We all get to be alive for about the same amount of time, 30,000 days. Did you know that's the average lifespan?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, you're spending part of one of them with me, so I appreciate that.
Awesome, yeah.
We get 30,000 days. We're born, we die. Do you believe in an afterlife?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
A what? Where? Heaven?
Very interesting. So we actually believe in something called the spirit world.
No.
So right after we leave this life, it's kind of, in a sense, kind of temporary waiting place where I think those people who did live righteous lives have a state of peace and rest. And those people who lived unrighteous lives most likely are experiencing a lot of guilt and regret, unhappiness. However, the beautiful thing is that there's a lot of people who don't even ever hear about Jesus Christ. Like all those people who lived before Jesus Christ,
right?
All those people who are living in China or
wherever they
might be, never heard about Jesus Christ. And
downtown Toronto,
and like we claim that the way to salvation, the way to God is through Jesus Christ, and so that's what we believe is after this life. Those people who haven't had the opportunity to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ receive that opportunity.
Oh, cool. And they can convert there if they want to. Mm-hmm. And if they do, they're in. And then when they go from the spirit world to, is it heaven you call it?
So after the spirit world,
Yeah.
we're judged and we'll all be resurrected like Jesus Christ.
Right.
So we receive kind of perfect bodies. We're actually judged.
Sorry, what do you mean you receive perfect bodies? That sounds very appealing to me.
Yeah. So what we learn is that after resurrection, we can have perfect bodies. You know, those who are born with whatever type of illness or maybe something that, is easier for them to live without. It could be maybe autism. It could be whatever it might be. The Lord has prepared a way so that they can receive a perfect body.
What is a perfect body?
For him, I think.
For me.
For
Because there's a lot of tweaks I'd make here.
Yeah.
Do I get everything I want? Do I get my six pack? Do I get my six pack?
If you want, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know, maybe.
So it's perfect body, whoever you define it.
Maybe. I think perfect body for the Lord. So maybe for him, it's just a body in which you are comfortable, you are healthy, you are happy, and you can fulfill any task that anyone else can do. There are some people who have maybe problems that they can't do things. They have an illness, they have a disorder, they have something. And everything will be just perfect, I guess. So we get a
Then
blessing.
from there, where do you go?
There you
Then from
I
there,
love
we're
this.
actually
I'm so interested. I never knew any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Keep going.
we're actually judged into one of three kingdoms of heaven. So we actually believe in three different degrees of
Okay.
glory. The third degree, or the bottom, was called, it's kind of hard to remember maybe, was called the Telestial Kingdom. And these are-
Telestial.
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 Yeah.
with L's, not R's. It's not terrestrial. It's
Telestial.
telestial. Under the earth. Is that
Yeah.
right? Does that mean under the earth?
Maybe actually.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I gotta
actually
Google
don't
that.
know the
Okay.
whole meaning.
So tell me the Telestial Kingdom.
Yeah, the Celestial Kingdom is where, people who kind of just continue in sin, that didn't follow Jesus Christ or choose to do that. And so they'll go to the Celestial Kingdom. And then the next one is terrestrial. Right? Have you
Which
heard
I
that
think,
word
well,
before?
that word means land.
Land.
I think it
okay.
means like terra firma means like
Wow.
like hard ground. So I think terrestrial, like E.T. the movie. I don't know if you ever saw E.T. the movie. So extraterrestrial, meaning he's from outside the earth. I could be totally talking out of my ass here, but I think I'm right.
I think so. Maybe. I
So
actually never heard
terrestrial
that.
is
That makes
so
a
I
lot
was
of
thinking
sense.
below earth, on the earth. Someone who's listening to this who follows your church is going to be like, Neil knows nothing of what he's talking about.
Okay. They'll understand. They'll be like,
Okay. Okay. Terrestrial.
Good question.
Tell me about the terrestrial.
Terrestrial. So these are people who lived honorable lives, right? But didn't accept Jesus Christ or the fullness of the gospel. And so, so far too, with these two kingdoms, is they're both good places. Neither of them are hell, right? They'll live in happiness.
You didn't list hell as an option there.
No.
Okay.
Not
And
really.
there's really isn't an option. Yeah, God is very merciful and just. He has a place for those who shouldn't have done all the things they did, and even them, He loves them. He has a place for them. Those who were very honorable people, did very good things, believed in Jesus Christ, maybe didn't go all the way to follow His example. He has a place for them too. And I think maybe you would like to talk about the last one.
So the last kingdom, the one that really is our goal, is called the Celestial Kingdom.
Celestial. So that to me is implying above the earth.
Exactly. We have to compare it to the glory of the sun, right? So it's in this kingdom that people who live the gospel of Jesus Christ were faithful to the end. They'll go there, and you can
Tell me about this place.
Yeah, you want to know, right? Yeah. So this is the kingdom where we can actually live in the presence of God and continue to progress and become more like Him. And in addition, this is the kingdom that we can live with our families in forever if we qualify for that.
Families that are alive and who've passed away.
Yeah.
So mentioned your great grandmother and people like that. They would maybe be there.
Yeah, exactly. So what we believe is that families can be together forever. And something that we do is we call it marriage, right? But in the temple, there's a special ordinance type of act, and families can be sealed. So that if they live worthily and if they do everything that they're supposed to do as followers of Jesus Christ, that they can be together in the celestial kingdom. after they're
That's so
judged.
appealing.
That is.
Well, just the idea that when you lose, inevitably we will lose our family members, and the idea of reconnecting and being together with them is so. I mean, that's I can see the appeal of that. But how do you picture this place? Because of course, the cliche I have is like in the clouds,
Maybe.
but. Is there ever paintings or drawings of it, or is it talked about? Is there anything on TV besides The District there?
I don't think, we don't have an exact picture of how it looks like, but I'm absolutely sure that it will be infinitely better than anything we could imagine. Mm-hmm. And what's best is that we can live with our Father here on earth, also our Father in heaven who's created us, and with all those who we love. Heavenly Father, as you can see, I call him Heavenly Father, right? You can call him God. I call him Heavenly Father because he's our Father. And he loves us so much that he says, all these people that you love down here who are connected to you, I want you to be with them. I prepared the best place for you in the best circumstances. All you got to do is just follow me. Just love me.
So I love that. That's beautiful. What a great, it's a role model in a way. And that's why when you get to the celestial, you get to live more like him. And this open heart, which you guys both have. No, you do. I mean, that's why we're talking, because you're so warm. You have a warmth. You're smiling. You were allowing me to ask questions, which I know are actually very ignorant questions.
No, it's okay.
Very dumb.
No, we love questions.
But
they're good.
And you are earnestly conversing with me at this level where I have not been able to get there all the time. It's hard in life to get to that level where you're just speaking honestly on both sides, totally honest. That's the best way to talk. But it's hard to get to that, isn't it?
Sometimes.
So because we are focusing on the Book of Mormon, really the whole conversation has been about this book so far and how you guys are living your lives through it. What else from this book that has changed your life? And how old were you when you first read it or were listening to it? Were you a baby kind of going to church or?
Well, yeah, I've been going to church for a while. When I actually started reading it, I was about 16.
It's hard to read.
Yeah.
It's like I tried and I'm like, whoa, it's really hard. The first book of Nephi, an account of Lehi and his wife Sarah. I mean, I'm in the first 3 words and I've already mispronounced 2.
No, that's okay. You pronounce it however you want. You pronounce it however you want.
You go for it. Anyway, I know I can't go for it. It's hard. It's hard to read this. It's difficult reading.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think just for me, a common theme is, some things that are hard, if we really commit to trying to understand or trying to get through, they can be the things that benefit us most. I think for me, the question was, how has this book influenced our lives? I was raised in church and I never read the whole book until I was about 17, 16. And it was then that I realized that at that time, I probably wasn't living in accordance as much as I should to the things that are taught in this book. And in a certain part, if I could just talk a little section about the book.
I'd love to.
It's found in Mosiah chapter 4, and it talks about this king.
Do you know the page number?
I can find it real quick.
I'm on it. You could I'd love to hear you quote it or just read it for our listeners. Is this it? Chapter 4?
Yeah, Mosiah chapter 4.
Read the paragraph that resonates with you.
Okay, so in the beginning, I was thinking, man, I've done so many mistakes. I should be living a little bit better. And this King Benjamin, he's speaking to the people. And he's saying, you have to repent. You have to be better. There's happiness out there that you can have if you just repent and change. And as he was reading this, and as the people are listening to this, it says, I'm just going to read maybe the first 3 verses. And now it came to pass that when King Benjamin had made an end of speaking the words which had been delivered unto him by an angel of the Lord, that he cast his eyes round about on the multitude, and behold, they had fallen to the earth, for the fear of the Lord had come upon them, and they had viewed themselves in their own carnal state, even less than the dust of the earth. And they all cried out with one voice, saying, Oh, have mercy, and apply the atoning blood of Christ, that we may receive forgiveness of our sin, and our hearts may be purified. For we believe in Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who created heaven and earth, and in all things who shall come down among the children of men. And it came to pass that after they had spoken these words, the Spirit of the Lord came upon them, and they were filled with joy, having received the remission of their sins, and having a peace of conscience because of the exceeding faith which they had in Jesus Christ, who should come according to the words which King Benjamin had spoken unto them. And at that moment, I could just feel myself kind of like one of those people in the crowd, just falling on my knees in complete humility and saying, forgive me. All of a sudden, filled with immediate joy and peace. And it is more than that. It's a change, but it really goes to show how ready the Father, Heavenly Father, is ready to forgive us.
Right.
Just like if your son ever did anything.
Well, if you had a drink of alcohol, you're not allowed to, but then you would be forgiven for that.
Yeah, if we change, say, I won't do it again, I'm sorry. So a main thing in this gospel is what we call the atonement. And that's what it is, the atonement of Jesus Christ, what he suffered so that we can be forgiven, free of guilt, free of stain, and so that we can have peace and happiness in our life. And so we can have an opportunity to go to celestial kingdom, like we said, to be with their families forever. Because there's absolutely no way that we can be perfect. There's absolutely no way that with our...
Or how you define perfection.
Yeah.
Because I would define it as you already are perfect. No, I would. That's how I would say it. And,
I like
even
that.
if you did have a drink, and I know you're not allowed to, I think you're still perfect.
No, I like that perspective.
And even if you got married or had sex before marriage, I think you're still perfect.
I like that positive perspective.
And I even think that if you, because it's legal in this country, smoke marijuana, or you were homosexual and you were in a homosexual relationship with I still think you're perfect. I still think you're perfect. I still think you're perfect no matter what you do, no matter when you do it. Your whole life, I will think you're perfect because you're a human. You're here. You have 30,000 days. You're living the best life you can, the way you want to. I mean, I walk by people on the street that are lying in the gutter or whatever, and I don't think they're not perfect. Even though they might be committing lots of sins as you're defining it, I would think, I wonder if there's an illness that they have that sort of took, a mental illness good. That maybe that, my wife lost a thing of flowers off her stroller, and she went back with my son to try to find them. They're gone. The flowers she just bought. She's like, I bet you somebody else needed flowers more than us today.
I like that.
I would say
we're all fine.
That's a very Christ-like way to look at people, right? If you look at Jesus Christ's life, we'll just take, for example, like one story in the Bible where an adulterous woman is...
When you say the Bible, do you mean the Book of Mormon?
No, so the Bible, we read the Bible as well.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we read both.
Bible and Book of Mormon.
Yes.
You just have the extra chapter. Okay, the extra book. Yeah.
And so an adulterous woman is taken and brought before Jesus, and that time they tell Jesus, like, Master, this woman was taken in adultery. According to the law, she should be stoned to death. And Christ looks at her very mercifully and says, he who has no sin, let him be for the first to cast a stone at her. And everyone disperses, right? And so I think that's a very Christ-like way that you look at people, right? A very merciful way, in the way that Jesus Christ looks at us.
Do you know why I think that way? Because I'll tell you exactly why. Because I love you guys. I have a connection with you. I think I love your passion, your determination, and the heartfelt way you live your lives. And I don't want you to feel ever guilt, stress, anxiety, wondering if by falling off the course a bit, you will be in a sin or a sinner. I don't want you to carry that. I want the idea of that to go away from you so that you can just live your life as best you can and not worry about feeling guilty ever. So I'm inspired by you. I am. I'm inspired by you. I think differently than you. I think we know that. That's okay. That's okay. And all I want for you, and I hope all you want for me, is that we keep living happy lives. Yeah. The ways that we want to live them. That's kind of the whole point of life.
That's why God has asked us to follow him. He wants us. He has given us so much. He absolutely loves us. Would be no reason that he would give the perfect son for us for no reason. He loves us. He wants us to be happy. And that's kind of what we preach, right? We just want everybody to come and see how happy you can possibly be. We know you're happy over there. Maybe you're not. Some people are not happy. But come over here and you might find that you could be a little bit more happy. And we don't try to push people through the door. We just say, you're invited. That's why the sign outside says, visitors welcome. We're invited. And we accept everybody. We love everybody. We like the message you have told us as well. Just always seeing how the perfections in people, regardless of where they are or what they have done, and in some way they're perfect and they are absolutely loved to the maximum. And we like that because we can see that you agree on that unconditional love that should always be in us.
Totally. Elder Corona, Elder Cox, thank you so much for coming on 3 Books and for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Hey everybody, it's just me, and it's just Neil again, listening back on that conversation inside the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in downtown Toronto, as we had just a educational conversation with Elder Cox and Elder Corona about the Book of Mormon, and of course about their lives. Bit of a sad ending here as I reflect on the conversation. When I went to go meet them, And we hung out for a little bit kind of before and after I talked. And I had like a couple hours and then I had to go. And I had to go meet somebody else in the afternoon that day. And so I wrote them an email after saying, hey, it was great talking to you about the one formative book, but can I come back and can we do the other two? And they wrote back and said, yes, could you do it next week? And I said, oh, I'm traveling next week. What about the week after? And then I got a note back and it said, hey, Neil, from Elder Cox, we just found out that we will both be leaving Toronto early tomorrow morning. And I wrote back and said, oh whoa, I'm so sad to hear this, but perhaps happy for you? ? Where are you going? Will you still be together? And then the line went dead. And I didn't hear back. And I felt terrible about this for a while. I'm like, oh my gosh, like they gave me 3 books. We only got to talk about one of them because we had this what I think is of a rich conversation about their church and about how they are navigating their lives. We hugged, we held hands. I gave them, I gave them my energy. They gave me theirs. And I think we both left feeling so much more uplifted. But I also didn't get their other 2 books out. And so I debated what to do about that. And I don't know if I'll be able to find them again. I don't know where their missions will lead them. I haven't heard back on where they are now. But I think the 2 books they gave me speak to, in a way, the people they are and the journeys that they are on. So I'm going to share them now as I highlight, as I always do at the end, the 3 most formative books of our guests. So, and see if you agree with me about these books fitting. So, thank you to Elder Cox and Elder Corona for giving us number 897, The Book of Mormon by Joseph Smith. And now, are you ready? Number 896, Unbroken by Laura Hillebrand, which is submitted by Elder Cox. Okay. And number 895, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien by Elder Corona. Unbroken. The Hobbit. Mystical quests, unbreakable journeys, going a long distance, trying to accomplish something bigger than yourself. Can you hear the themes? Like, they're so palpable. And although we didn't talk about those books, I'm going to have to think about, like, maybe you can help me out, guys, how I bring them back. Maybe I can get them on the phone, or we can get a little addendum in one of the end of the podcast clubs to hear some thoughts on those 2 books. But for now, I want to insert them into our list. I want their books that they chose in addition to the Book of Mormon to be represented on the 3 books countdown, always available over at 3books.co/the-top-1000 if you want to see all of our books. And I want to just give a huge, big thank you to Elder Cox and Elder Corona. They're doing something I could never do. They are spending 2 years away from their family, away from their friends, with no artistic or visual stimulations of any kind. Never mind alcohol or drugs. I just mean like books. 2 years without other books, movies, television, music, other than the show that they make down in Utah, which we had a couple laughs about. I found these guys to be kind. I found them to be considerate. I found them to be thoughtful. I found them to be doing something at age 19 and 18 that I could never have done, which is be so committed to a cause and a belief that you just dedicate your life towards that. I am so happy for them that they have found their purpose, and I'm so happy that I got to share their conversation with you today.